Welcome to TestTroop, your go-to hub for professional knowledge sharing. In this playlist, I will be covering everything you need to know about APIs, from the basics till and hands-on API testing and automation technique. Whether you are new to API testing or looking to sharpen your skills, this series will guide you through the entire process. Before we dive into our series of API testing videos, I want to take a moment to discuss why API testing is crucial in end-to-end testing landscape. In my experience as test architect, I had numerous conversations with test engineers and trying to understand what is their end-to-end testing approach. 90% of the time, I get a typical answer that they collaborate initially with product owners or the business analyst to understand the end-to-end user journey. And they try to collect a test data to execute this end-to-end test journey. For each test data, they know what is an input and expected and what is an expected results. During the test execution, basically they trigger a series of actions through the front end and verify the data lands into the downstream system, or the user interface itself displays the expected result and mark the test case as successful. However, what they often overlook is that what happens behind the scenes, especially how the interactions happens between the front end to the database or through the downstream systems or to the external systems. This lack of visibility into the internal working of an application highlights the need to include API testing as an integral part of end-to-end testing. Let us consider a simple banking application involving the front end, back end microservices, and master database. Imagine the user is performing a basic test to check the balance of a customer savings account. What he does basically is he logs into the banking application with the valid credentials. Once the login is successful, he goes to the main page and clicks on account summary button, and he basically sees that the balance is displayed on the user interface. During this course of testing, as soon as he sees the balance is being displayed on the front end, the user marks this test case as pass. But here there is a critical question: is the displayed account balance is actually correct or not? To analyze this scenario more thoroughly, let's break down the series of interactions that happens. When the user clicks on an account summary, the front end basically retrieves an account details from the master database. This happens via the API. If you see this diagram that is shown in the presentation, the front end, the presentation layer directly does not communicate with the backend. In between, there is an backend business logic that exposes a set of API to perform a certain operation with the database. For example, to retrieve the account summary, there may be an API that is designed. To perform a payment, there may be another API that is being designed to perform these actions. So the backend business logic exposes the set of APIs to perform the different operations. In this case, to ensure the front end is correctly calling the API that gets an account summary, we can implement a small test that invokes a same API with the same parameters. By comparing the response that we are getting from the API with the data that is shown in the front end, we can verify the current information is displayed or not. Basically, this API is giving us lot of information, but the information that is useful to us is the account summary. So we can compare from the API response the account summary with the account summary that is being displayed on the front end, and then we can mark the test is passed or not. If you want to go little deeper into testing, we can also design a test case wherein we can validate the backend developer has implemented the API correctly or not. This can be done by writing a simple test that basically queries the database with the same parameters that API uses. It may be with the username, with the username, with the password, which table the data to be queried, and etc. etc. Using this information that API being uses, we can also write a set of the queries to query the database, and then the output of the query, if it matches with the API response, then we can say that the API is implemented correctly or not. Incorporating the API testing in your end-to-end testing strategy provides a deeper level of validation and ensures that all layers of applications are functioning correctly, not just the front end. This is why the API testing is not just nice to have but necessary in modern software testing. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video where we will dive into the basics of APIs.